We have a request from the lovely Anita Gelman, that Diane of cuticles, follicles, and maquillage. We salute you. Running commentary. We are exploring listening to albums. It is a lost art form. The Pretenders' debut album. I wonder if part of me was kind of dreading every moment of this. I think there was that sort of my director thing where it's like, oh, the Pretenders, okay. There was part of me, actually, if I'm honest about it, because even though I like the singles, I was like, not really relishing the idea of reviewing this album, which was the same with the New York Dolls, as you'll remember. So let's see how I got along. Well, it starts so well. You know, the Precious song is absolutely fucking brilliant. Anita. Amazing. I love the lyrics, and Chrissie Hynde's vocal style really works. You know, it's a great starting track. The guitar as the police siren at the end I thought was a really great touch. I'm too precious. Fuck off. Absolutely. Shitting bricks. You know, the lyrics are great. She's really owned this London scene as she's born in Ohio, Chrissie Hynde. And, you know, the appropriation of British culture on this record, because you have to remember Pretenders are in a British and American group. But I think she does a really great job of putting herself across as vital to the English scene. Now, it's really important to remember with Chrissie Hynde, and this is absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Let me find these notes because you're going to find this really, really interesting. She worked with Malcolm McLaren and Vivienne Westwood in a shop called Sex in London. So that, you know, right there, Malcolm McLaren and Vivienne Westwood, you've got to imagine the cachet attached to working somewhere like that. She's a Virgo. That surprised me. You know, she's born on September the 7th. She's the only constant member of the Pretenders. She's the only one that's been in the band all the way through. And how's about this for a tidbit? Malcolm McLaren replaced her as the guitarist in a band called Masters of the Backside, who then asked her to leave as they became The Damned. So she was asked to leave the band that became The Damned. She'd also had asked, I believe, Mick Jones to try and join a band with Mick Jones. You know, she really wanted to be part of this punk scene. And this is really very evident on this Precious song. I have to say, I think it's their loss. I really think that she brought something about her on this track where it was like, and the more you hear it, the more you like it. I immediately bought this, you know, so that was absolutely great. It's the debut album. Nick Lowe produced the Stop Your Sobbing single, but decided not to invest any further time in the band because he didn't think that they had a future. So are you seeing a pattern here? That the guys in Chrissie Hynde's life are all kind of like rejecting her. She's getting rejected by the Damned. They're telling her to fuck off. You've got, you know, she's trying to form a band with Mick Jones from The Clash. That's not happening. And now here Nick Lowe, who, what did he have? I Love the Sound of Breaking Glass. I mean, it's hardly, you know, rocket science, is it? But he didn't think the band were going anywhere. So I think, you know, Chrissie Hynde was up against some real elements here, and given these backstories, it makes you really appreciate the work on the album that much more. And we've only just gotten started with this story. There's so much to tell about the Pretenders that I found absolutely fascinating. Continuing with the album, it was released in the first week of 1980, became an instant hit. It was a #1 record together with the Brass in Pocket single. It's on the Real record labels and Sire Records in the US, which was Madonna's label. The phone call is great. It's more of an instrumental feel. Up the Neck, I think this is a very sexy track and has its absolute finger on the pulse of the music scene of late 79 and early 1980. It was far from being all very run-of-the-mill. I like her use of catchphrases. She embraces British culture through her lyrics beautifully and convincingly. I don't think she's a knockoff. I don't think she's a phony. I've, you know, on regular basis, you know, as an English person, you'll hear people trying to mock the accent or, you know, go, oh, cup of spot of tea and ha-ha and jam and all that stuff. I get it. she's not messing around. She nails it, and she owns it, and I absolutely, so far, so good. Tattooed Love Boys is a great intro. It's super upbeat rhythmically. I would love to hear this live, which for me is a great thing, because I don't really like live music as much, or at least I don't think I do until I get there and actually get into the thing. The lyrics and direction of The Pretenders is really appreciated at this point. It was recorded, the album, with Chris Thomas as the producer, and it stayed at #1 in the UK charts for 4 weeks. It also made the American top 10 as an album. Space Invader is an instrumental track which ends with the bleep bleep blop of that wildly popular computer game of the time, which we were all playing a Pong, the ball going back and forward with the two things. Like, Space Invaders was the big game. I mean, you would squander hours of your time trying to get those super fast ones on level 8 when they were like, they had like bullets coming at you continuously and you had no chance of winning. Yeah, was that a Japanese... Probably, its bullets keep coming out. Let's talk a little bit about some of the tragedy of The Pretenders. Now, this story, I think, is really worth just spending a little time talking about. Pete Farndon, who was the bassist on this album, died on my birthday, 14th of April, 1983, having drowned in the bathtub as a result of a heroin overdose. He'd been dismissed from the band in June of 1982 because of his drug problem. I kind of empathize with this story in as much as I try to imagine what it must have been like, to be a member of the Pretenders and have, I don't know who fired him or how it went down, but you picture the scene. I think this is a great rock story. I mean, even if you don't know that much, I don't know if this has been made into a movie already, but it doesn't end there. It really doesn't. The next thing to bear in mind is that James Honeyman Scott, 2 days after Pete Farndon was dismissed from the Pretenders, died as a result of heart failure from a cocaine overdose or cocaine intolerance. And 2,000 Miles was written in his memory as the Christmas single from the Pretenders the following year. And he was just 25 years of age when he died. So, real tragedy that half the lineup of the Pretenders was dead within 3 or 4 years of the group's initial success. And I found that to be something that just engaged me even more to this record, that there was some real rock and roll history. I mean, you hear of one member of a band dying, but to lose half your lineup to drugs, one upper, one downer is really, tragic. So, R.I.P. to both of those members whose work really lives on, and I'm so glad that they had a chance to record and make their presence felt in this world, because it's so sad when these things happen. The Wait. Oh boy, you've been forgotten. This song's not bad to me, though it is outgunned by the other tracks on the album. Stop Your Sobbing is a decent song, but it's stodgier than their lean punk presence on the rest of the album. This was written by Ray Davies, who of course went on to marry Chrissie Hynde, as did Jim Kerr. So, I mean, this lady politically and in the music scene it's just gets better and better for her, and she has a lot of respect amongst females. This is somebody that females really love Chrissie Hynde. Her whole style, the black coal pencil and the dark hair and the dark eyes and the jeans and the playing the guitar. She's really cool, and I understand, listening to the album, why that is. Kid for me is about Chrissie Hynde's voice. She is what makes this a number 33 UK hit. I'm definitely more into what's happening on the rest of the album. I think this style of vocal that she does on Kid works so much better on I Go to Sleep as a single. I think, that kind of seductive thing that she does here, the song just doesn't matter. Her voice is really what carries this track. Oh my god. So you think the best has happened. You think, what else could possibly really go on in this album? Private Life, which was recorded by Grace Jones as an art house hit in 1980, and I always thought up until this point was a Grace Jones song. No, it's a Chrissie Hynde song. Not only is it a Chrissie Hynde song, it's a fucking brilliant Chrissie Hynde song. It is absolutely quintessential. You know, I love Grace Jones, but really, flush it down the toilet, because compared to this is by far my favorite track on the album. The lyrics are scathing and bitchy. You know, it's nice and mellow, but packs a meaningful punch. Your sexual complications are not my fascinations. I love the English blokes doing background vocals. It makes me laugh. I think it's really funny. I purchased it immediately. I played it to anyone who I thought might be interested. Go check out Private Life by the Pretenders if you haven't heard it. It's fucking great. Love it. Good job. Brass in Pocket, I think, is one of the sexiest number ones of all times. I really do, you know, and we talked about Anita and me having a laugh with the lyrics. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my sidestep, my fingers, gonna use my imagination. It's a smart record. It's a great way to start 1980. It easily made number one. It still deserves it. I think it wouldn't have mattered when this record came out. It would have been a number one record. It's an expression of female sexuality, and it's understated. She sort of sidles up with it. It's like, I think it's really just a brilliant record. I absolutely love it. The Lovers of Today, I would say, is a low-key, intimate ballad. A mystery achievement, I've Got No Trophies on Display, sings Chrissie Hynde in this tightly instrumented album closer. We beg to differ. This album is bustling with originality and presence. The only sadness really here is that, you know what would have made this just like perfect is another one of my favorite Pretender songs, which is Talk of the Town. I absolutely love how Talk of the Town starts. I love everything about it as a follow-up to Brass in Pocket. Sadly, not on the album. I wish it was, because, you know, I definitely have bumped up the final mark here. With her dark hair and dark eyes, cold pencil, and a fascinating mind, Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders are a beguiling piece of the puzzle that is the sexual revolution. In final summation of the album, I award it 88%. Anita, thank you. This was a great recommendation. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, recommend it to friends, post comments. Also, if you have an album that you'd like to hear reviewed, we welcome your requests.